Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable, right here on our Star Nations organization's main fan page. And I'm just going to get the little thing up so that we can see it. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neshi Lokotz. I am your host for the Spiritual Roundtable this afternoon. In this particular live stream, it's all about the daily card draw, I should say weekly card draw that is a message for the entire group. And so, and I draw the cards in the morning, and so we have some time to chat about it and to have a spiritual conversation. The intention for the card draw remains to be the same. We started this almost 2 years ago, and that is that asking my spiritual team to show us what is the energy that's flowing this week that's important for us to know about for our spiritual growth, to have some clarity around our soul contract, those aha moments, right? And so that is the intention for the card draw and for the conversation. So welcome, everybody. I so appreciate you spending your part of your day with me, this hour with me, as we have the spiritual conversation. And for those that are watching the recorded version of this, thank you so much for bringing us into your day at your leisure, and so that you can, if you have anything that you'd like to add to the conversation, just go ahead and drop it into the comments, and we'll read those as well. Okay. All right. So before I get too far down the road, what I'm going to do is I am going to send it over, the live stream over, to a couple people that I promised that I would, just so that I just saw a message here from Janet. Hi, Janet. Janet just joined the show too. I'm just going to send it over to a couple of friends that they asked that I send them the information about the show. And I am going to send it also over to my newsfeed, just to remind my friends. And I invite you to do the same so that we can add people to the conversation. There we go. That'll do. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. I also have to send it over to a couple of the closed groups too, so that the peeps remember. And so we'll send it over there too. There we go. And there's one, there's two. I always have to be careful because, with the bifocals, you want to make sure you hit the right group. Here we go. All right. I have some good news. I have some really, really, really good news. I had my doctor's appointment this morning for my type 2 diabetes. It's been 6 months since October, when I had my first kind of wonky thing going on with my glucose. And back in October, it was like 10.7. That's not good. That is not healthy. And so today, this morning, I'm proud to say that all the conscious choices and I have a 5.7, A1C. And so that's really, really good. Anything under a 6 is really good. And when you're a type 2, they even say anything under a 7. So it makes me happy. Now we just have to still go to the root of the cause, right? Do some healing wherever I need to have it healed, in whatever body that I need it healed in, whether it's the emotional, mental, spiritual, or physical body. And so that it can be sustainable, right? And so that we can maintain a healthy glucose level. And that is the goal. It is to reverse the type 2 and to have it maintained. It's good stuff. Good stuff. My doctor was very surprised, very pleased. I do have some issues with the metformin that I'm on, medication, but we're going to deal with that too. And so it's good stuff. It's good news. Good news indeed. Yeah. I also deal with this, how I deal with stress, because I always thought I did well with it, right? Dealing, because we all have it. It's not like anybody, any two-legged out there doesn't have stress. We just by our term being human, it's already there, right? And so, yeah, I need to shift around my meditation, um, perhaps lengthen it. Um, Maybe it's a different kind of meditation, right? So I'm open to possibilities with that. Maybe there's something new that's on the horizon for me when it comes to my meditations. So I'm excited. I am. Yes, even with yesterday being a relatively stress-filled day, from family stuff to business stuff to health stuff, I still ended up with a 5.7 A1C. So that's good. I wanted to share that with you guys. So thank you so much. Let's see who's in the house before we get started with the card information. Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. Good to have you here. And yay, good one. Good one, Rochelle. If you haven't done your grounding today, like Rochelle has, you'll want to take a moment to do that, because the information that's coming from the cards is going to be even more helpful to you as you take it in a grounded state. Grounded, centered, and protected, okay? Just take a moment to do that. Thank you, Rochelle, for reminding. And Natalie's here. Hello, Natalie. I know, right? I was so excited. Happy, happy, happy. Now, Natalie, just so you kind of know the background, I've been diagnosed type 2 since 2011. And I had reversed it at that time as well. It took me 2 years to do that. 2 years. And then about the time my mom moved in, I kind of fell off the wagon. And the wagon lost its wheels practically. And so it pushed me into a health crisis that I said, okay, we're going to deal with this one. And so even when I was talking to my doctor today, I think I kind of surprised him a bit. I was kind. I was kind, but I was also assertive, because I told him that, because he wanted me to be on some other medication. I said, my blood pressure, no, my triglycerides, my cholesterol, it's good. It's 78. It's really, really good. And because I carry type 2 diagnosis, they wanted to put me on some sort of statins. And I said, no, why would I take something when I'm doing more than okay with it, right? And I said, I tell you what you can do, though, for me. You can help support me in reversing this type 2. I need a referral to an endocrinologist. I need a referral to an orthopedist for my shoulder, because my shoulder is reacting to the metformin. And I said, and I need to, I got Georgie here on me. I need to work at reducing the metformin amount and then eliminating it. And I said, and that's the goal in the next 6 months. And I said, are you on the way on the team with me? Are you on, and are you fully in? Because I need to know. Because if you're not, then I need to find a physician who will be and is completely supporting me and on the team 100%. He kind of sat back and he looked at me and he said, I think I'm going to be on your team. And I said, good. I need those referrals. And yeah, so I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. Hey, Rob's here. Hello, Rob. It's kind of funny to have him in the audience now and not producing. But Andrew's here too. Hi, Andrew. Good to have you here. And look who else is here. Marie's here too. I love it. Hello, Marie. Good to have you in the house. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been doing the tango with it for some time. Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Perfect timing. Weird day. I swear the whole world needs grounding. I totally agree with you. Yesterday, and I know it probably has something to do with Mercury going direct, right? And we're still in the shadow of Mercury, and that means communications and all of that, right? Where I think Julie says the shadow lasts up for 2 weeks. In other words, as the energy of Mercury the Mercury retrograde starts to dissipate, right, over those 2 weeks. So I have to agree with you, Lisa. Smokers, because good stuff at the doctors, but more medical stuff with both our moms. And yeah, I totally agree. Rob says, ask your doctor if a free sample of Toxkill is right for you. What's Toxkill? I don't know if I like that name. What is it? Natalie. Hey, Natalie, she says, yay, way to advocate. I know, right? I've learned. Of course, we're advocates for both our moms, too. And I've had to learn how to communicate with medical staff for them and now for myself. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Lisa says, I know, right? Thank you. I'm glad you guys are on my team. And hey, Stephanie's here, too. Hello to you, too, lady. Michelle says, I missed when you said your present A1C. I got mine down to 5.9. Yeah, my present one, the reading this morning was 5.7. So in 6 months, I went from a 10.7 to a 5.7. Good stuff. And yeah, so it's all about that, the maintenance and the reversal. And, I know that it is another tweak, another change in the lifestyle, diet kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm up for it, though. I am. Rob's saying it's a way for you to support America by making the pharmaceutical companies rich. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well, we're not for that because let's see. They wanted to put me on two new medications today, and I said no to both of them. And he says, well, my doctor says, he goes, well, yeah, you're right. Your numbers show that you don't need it because you're doing really well in those 2 areas. He said, but I can't. The protocol is that we present it to you, we encourage you, and then you make your decision, right? And I said, well, my decision is no. And I realized that you can't endorse my no, but you can quietly over there in the corner kind of look at me and kind of wink. And I'll know that you're still on the team, and it made him laugh. So, yeah, so that's okay. We can tell them no, right? Yeah, we don't have to hand over our power to them. Yeah, thank you, Rochelle. Good. And it kind of goes along with the information today for the cards. Here you go. These are, let me turn off the crawler because sometimes that gets in the way. All right, so I'm going to go this way with it. These are the cards that we're still using, the Sacred Spirit reading cards, right, by Anna Stark. Anna Stark. I haven't gotten the nudge to switch them out yet, so we'll see how that goes, okay? So here's the very first card that we have today. Now, this is one of the reasons why we're suggesting that you guys are grounded, centered, and protected today, okay? Especially for this card read, because another big dose of medicine, spirit medicine, heading our way. Okay, here we go. And it's align your universe. Align your universe. Navigate distractions. Come on, camera, let's focus. Talk about focusing. Navigate distractions. Align your universe. Look at those cards, those colors, very bright, very brilliant. And kind of take a look. It reminds me, not the moon, but the sun, and how full it is here, down here in the corner. And as we make our way up, the size changes and the color changes a bit, right? It goes from small, kind of a brilliant, and then we add a little bit more red to it, a little bit more red. And then we get down here, down at the corner, down over here. Yeah. Almost looks like lightning too, doesn't it, on his head? You got that patch of blue and red on his cheek. But notice way up there in the corner, in the upper corner, you got a flower. And then you have a female, a woman, right? And she's looking down, but looking kind of away. There's also a butterfly in there too. Okay. Now, when I first looked at this card, and there's so much to look at, right? And even with the person who's in the center, there's one looking toward the front and down. Notice that his chin is highlighted, his nose, and of course his third eye, right? So is his ear. But the image behind him, it feels like it's the same person, but they're looking away. They're looking toward the back, right? And his ear is still illuminated, but his forehead is more of a red color. Looking away. This is all about aligning your universe, navigating distractions, right? It's a very full card. A lot to look at, a lot to take in. Right? It's a lot. You know, and when I was, without even reading the author's information quite yet, I took a look at the card and just kind of sat with it this morning. And when I reflected on just on our daily life, right? How much information comes to us every single day, every moment of the day, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. And especially in the age that we live in, right? When we have the internet and we have our cell phones and, you know, we're constantly taking in information always, right? And the distractions are much more than previous generations. You know, our parents' generation or our grandparents' generation or our great grandparents' generations, right? We take in so much more information than they ever did. It's around us all the time. Literally, if we didn't have to sleep, 6 to 8 hours, we could still take in information during that time frame, right? And older generations, they didn't have that. They had 3 television channels. And when those channels went off the air at whatever time that was, 2 a.m., midnight, right? There was nothing to watch on TV. It was done. The most they could do was to either listen to the radio, and even then, a lot of the stations weren't on in the wee hours of the morning. But they could read. But there's the information, the stimuli was not as much as what we have today. And we have so much, and how much of that is a distraction for us, right? How do we determine what's a priority and what's not, right? And especially if you don't trust your intuition, or maybe you're not 100% with your intuition as it comes in. And so you're kind of thinking, is that for me? Is it not for me? You're discerning, right? You don't really discern for yourself. Some people are like that. Other people who are very much awake on their spiritual journey, even those of us who've been around the block a few times, right, on our spiritual journey, that we still have a whole lot of information coming at us and having to discern, having to determine what's a priority, what can be left to the side, what can be completely left over there, right? Do you find yourself during the daytime feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information and decisions that you have to make? almost every moment that you're awake. Do you ever feel that overwhelm? You know, I mean, just even the last 2 days, just for me, you know, and one of the moms isn't, you know, she's my mom-in-law. She's been my mom-in-law for 40 something years. So I'm not taking the lead on that, but I'm certainly in the room and I'm listening to the information, right? And making suggestions, but I'm not the one making the decisions. Paul is. But even with that, you know, the amount of medical information that's coming in is like, huh, you know, look up a word. Wait, stop. What does that word mean? That kind of thing. So have you felt it? Have you felt it? All right, I'm going to catch up with you guys in the chat. Hang on just a second. All right. Rob is saying the protocol is to make pharmaceutical companies rich. You're being you're being selfish. I am. I'll claim it. Yes. Hey, Kimberly. It's good to have you here, lady. Good to have you in the house. And Stephanie is saying, my biopsy came back today. Everything is benign. Yay! No hysterectomy, no cancer. Happy dance. Happy dance. I know, right? All right. After the show, Stephanie, you and I are going to get on a call. We're going to get some music on. We're going to dance in our kitchens, okay? All right. Yeah, because it's time to celebrate. That is good news. Best news. Yay. We just have to learn how to deal with stress differently, right? All right. So, and Lisa's saying there's a Medicare thing they are doing with that with mom all the time because of her age as well being big pharma. Yes, absolutely. Yes. When it comes to the elderly and having, you know, being in a position to be able to advocate for them, you also have to be careful with those in the medical community that say that they're patient advocates. Who are they really advocating for? That's what I asked today. You know, it's like, okay, are you sure you're a patient advocate? Because it doesn't really feel like that. Let's put the cards on the table and let's see where the information really lies. Okay. And so you're right, Lisa. You know, that's what I mean about the discerning. When as much information as we're taking in, we really do need to rely on our spiritual team. I walked into that meeting this morning. As I was driving there from my appointment to the next appointment for my mom-in-law, I was talking to my spiritual team and saying, okay, I need more help. When it comes to this medical stuff, please help me have the courage to speak up. If it needs to be done, help me with the words that we can communicate as best as possible, as clear as possible, right? Yeah. And to be there to support Paul, right? Hey, Angie, good to have you here. Rochelle says, too much stimuli. I know that picture is just, that's a lot, right? It's a lot. Oh, let's look at that. Let's look at this. So this is the first card. It says align your universe, right? And it says navigate distractions. And Rochelle's saying is it reminds her of anger. I think it's because of all the red, don't you think? Could be. Because in the feng shui sense, red is an active color. It's the color of fire, right? It's very active energy. And it's good. In small doses, it's really good. But when you have too much red, then you get into aggression. Rather than assertiveness, you're into aggression and anger. Right? And so I can see why you would feel that way, really. But I'm also seeing a lot of yellow here and a lot of orange, as the orange and the yellow kind of goes into the red and the red into the yellow. We're seeing a lot of orange too, right? And blue. And what I was thinking about is this much yellow, it reminds me of our solar plexus. That's our will center, right? Our inner sun. Yeah. So we'll see what the author has to say about that. But I can understand why you would feel that way. Lisa says, card seems like the shadow side is leaving. Ooh, that's another good one too. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. When I first looked at it, I have to admit that it also, depending on your belief systems, right, what you believe in, how you take in information, um, and time, that measurement of time, right? Because when you're taking in a lot of information, a lot of times we'll also be very much aware of the passage of time, that we don't have enough time to do this, or do I have, I have X number of hours to fit in this amount of things to do, right? So we also get overwhelmed by the time crunch, right? And so when I was looking at that card, I was thinking more like, oh, and that we can perceive spherically, that aspects of ourselves can see and sense spherically. And so time has no measurement, really. There's no real measurement of time or space the way that we humans do, right? And I understand why we need that, but spirit has no measurement in that. And so when this, with the person being able to see behind him, right? Perhaps it's about seeing spherically in all directions. But I can see that the point that you're making, Lisa, about the shadow, right? Because that part of him is pretty much in the dark. Yeah, I can see that. Thanks for adding that, Lisa. I know, isn't it? It's good news. We're going to be doing that happy dance. We're going to have to come up with a dance that's Star Nation's happy dance, right? We'll put Rob on the music part. How's that? Happy music. All right. So here we go. This is what the author has to say. Align your universe, navigate distractions, organize your life. Much like astrological alignment, the mind, body, and spirit need consistent alignment as we navigate our daily life, social calendars, employment, family, and home life. Challenges to our thoughts and beliefs can shake us to our very core. Our values can be destabilized and altered if we have limited confidence in our direction or focus in life. So basically, if talk about creation, right? Manifesting. When we're doing that consciously, we have, if you want to call them goals, I'd prefer to call them intentions, right? That my intention is to be off the metformin in 6 months and to have my type 2 diabetes reversed, and to maintain a healthy glucose level, right, without medication. So that's, some people might call that a goal. I call that an intention, and manifesting, right? Yeah. Okay. So she goes on to say, when there are too many distractions or issues all happening at once, we struggle to focus on the important things. Right now, you require an alignment in your priorities. Much like the stars contained in the universe, your energy is scattered across time. Distractions and scattered energy are causing lost and missed opportunities for your soul to thrive. Health is also a factor now. Take time to make your health and well-being a priority. It's like, okay. Now, I drew this card before I went to the doctors, right? So I'm sitting there with them and with this information still in my conscious awareness. She goes on to say that you are the center of your universe. You must align your life accordingly. Seek a suitable profession. However, this is not a chance to be selfish or egocentric or shadow-based reasoning. Your soul and spirit need you to take charge of your life now, placing yourself as a priority. You can only do that when you have your energy aligned with a clear focus and understanding of where you are right now. So, how many of us are comfortable in making ourselves the priority? That making ourselves the center of our universe, right? Because talk about belief systems. Most of us have grown up with the belief, whether it's coming from our parents or a church or just society in general, that to do that, you're selfish. You're only thinking of yourself. So self centered, right? How many of us feel comfortable in putting ourselves as a top priority? When so many times, even as a light worker and energy worker, we talk about being of service to others, right? I think that there's a balance of that. That when we give so much and we're taking very little in return, that balance of giving and receiving is out of sync, right? And so to be able to find our comfort level in perceiving ourselves as being the center of our universe and putting our health and well-being as a priority, right? Yeah. And I think it also means that we have to define for ourselves those words about selfishness and self-centeredness, right? What does it mean for you individually to be of service? Striking our own balance, right? Because my balance is going to be different than your balance, right? So it's finding our comfort level of putting our own personal welfare first. Now, taking care of two elderly mothers, and talk about how do you do that, right? Um, but there's a life lesson in there too. There is. There's a life lesson in there. No matter what your experience, what you're going through in this, mine happens to have the book cover of elder care, right? For this life lesson. Your book cover on it may look completely different. It could be children, right? Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it is your your profession as a nurse, or it's anything that would help have us outside of um, balance. And perhaps that, because remember, the intention for the card draw is to help us understand and maybe even have those aha moments around our soul growth, our soul contract, right? And how do we define that balance for ourselves? Yeah. I'd like to think that we don't have to have a health crisis to help us to see and understand that we need to bring more balance into our lives, right? It's when we miss all those more subtle nudges that we end up many times in a health crisis, right? All right. I'm going to catch up with you guys in the chat. Hang on. Oh, here. Rob is saying he looks like my day. It's chaos. Chouse. Rob says, happy music for happy people. Yes. Snappy. Something you can dance to. Rob says, anyone with an RFD TV knows that tagline. And yay on the biopsy. Yes, absolutely. I like it when we have healthy exec team for Star Nations. And Angie is saying that can be hard to do. Yes, it can. I think it also depends on how we phrase it and how we perceive it, right? Yeah. How is it a challenge for us, right? The difficulty. Is it something that we can be open to solutions or possibilities to, right? Or do we want to be going over the same speed bumps, right? Rochelle says, I have no problem with being a priority, especially when it comes to my health. Good for you, Rochelle. Good for you. That's a healthy thought. Kimberly saying, I'm learning this. However, I realize to help people, we must have a full cup. Teaching people to choose self-care first helps communities. It sure does. It sure does. You know, and don't you think, Kimberly, that it also it takes those belief systems that we might have grown up with, and it literally puts them right in front of us and say, you know, is this supporting me? Is this something that I truly believe? Right? Is this something that I want to keep in my life? Right? Or is this something that I need to either completely let go of, or is there aspects of it that I'd want to keep and let the rest go? Right? Is it outdated and antiquated? What was it based on to begin with? Right? So, you know, we have to kind of filter it through. And no matter what you decide, it's good. As long as it's good for you, then it's good. Right? Do no harm, especially to yourself. I like that. Polly Jo uses that in her meditations. Right? Angie is saying, that is why it took me a while to go to partial hospitalization program for my mental health. Oh, I see. Yeah. You know, the good part is that you can see that now, right? That you recognize that. That's soul growth. That's soul growth. Good for you. All right. So let's finish this card up and then we can start the next one because we got 2 today. All right. Let's see. Where did I leave off? It says, when you align yourself to your own universe, you will begin to see positive changes and experiences relating to yourself and others. Adjusting the core of your being to a higher vibration allows a ripple effect to shift and integrate new energy through your whole being. The affirmation: it is safe for me to release the fear of the unknown. I can move forward with energy and enthusiasm. I'm going to say that again, okay? All right. It is safe for me to release the fear of the unknown. I can move forward with energy and enthusiasm. Releasing the fear of the unknown, and I can move forward. I can move forward with energy and enthusiasm. And how can you do that? Is because you're really discerning for yourself what's a priority and what's not. We have so much going around us every single day, every moment of the day, right? And so how do you discern what's a priority for you? And what can either wait or can be released and say, you know what, that's not mine. That's not mine. I don't know why, but okay, here's what I just heard, and you guys will recognize it. Not my circus, no, not my monkeys, not my circus. Right? In other words, that is nothing to do with me. I'm going to be minding my own vibration, right? Don't have to be pulled into someone else's drama, right? Not my monkeys, not my circus. Got my own big top to run, right? Yeah. So that's the first card. Align your universe, navigate distractions, and organize your life. And only you can identify what your distractions are, right? Because it's kind of like clutter. I can't come into your house and tell you what's clutter in your own house. Because by definition, clutter is something that you don't use and that you don't love. So someone else can't come into your house and tell you, oh, that's all clutter. Because they don't know. They don't know what you're using and what you love, right? It's the same way with the distractions. My distraction may not be your distraction, right? You may not have a husband that says, "Oh, take a look at this or read that," and then as I'm trying to do that, then he tells me he's talking to me about something completely different. What's the distraction, right? And he does that all the time. And so, what is your distraction? Is it a distraction? Only you can discern that. Only you can sift through that and say, that I'm letting go. That has nothing to do with me, doesn't have to have anything to do with me. I can wish them well. I can send them love as I send them on their way, right? Yeah. Only you can do that. All right. Stephanie is saying, the last 2 years have been all about learning to care for myself first and reprogramming some really unhealthy thought patterns, such as, I have a child now, my life and needs are forfeit. Ooh, that's a good one, Stephanie. That's a good one. So many moms, so many dads. Yeah. Right. Till they burn themselves out. And yeah. And it's not healthy for anybody, right? Especially the kids, especially when that's what you intended to begin with, right? I got the same thing with an older. All right. So Stephanie says this has been that has been so hard to break, but baby steps. Exactly. So it's that discerning piece, right? And when we talk about discerning, that really is about connecting, turning to our higher self, our soul self, in that discerning. What's do I go left? Do I go right? Do I do this? Do I do that? Right? Yeah. Tapping into the soul knowledge. Hey, Marie, she goes, oh, I needed to hear that. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Rochelle says, I can be my own distraction. Well, that is the truth, though. I think we all do that, too. Mine is when we play trivia, not knowing when to say when to stop. Here I am at 11:30 at night, 12 again, right? And we're still playing trivia. And it's like, I got to say when. All right, so here's the second card. Now, remember, the second card supports the message of the first card. Okay, so here's the second card. Open intuition, right? Open intuition. Seek clarification. Open intuition, seek clarification. Notice the palms are up and open. Heart chakra is illuminated. Eyes wide open at the throat chakra. We have a chakra in our chin, around our mouth, at our nose. Third eye, brightly illuminated. Notice the length of the hair. There's a belief that our hair is like our antenna, right? Like branches on a tree. Open intuition. Seek clarification. It also is about possible misinterpretations. When you're first starting out as an awake being, right? And so many of us, right, remember this quite clearly, about learning about our intuition, learning about our clairs, right? Learning how we bring in both seen and unseen information. That many times we either discount our intuition, we call it our imagination, we don't trust it, right? It's kind of like, how many of you guys have been driving and have a GPS in your car, right? And you plug in the address where you want to go. And you're driving along, and the GPS, the voice says, take a left in 150 feet or yards or whatever. And you're looking and going, that can't be right. That can't be right. I'm just going to go up one more block. And so you go up there, and darned if you're wrong. And then you have to turn around and you have to go back or find a different path, right? It's kind of like our intuition when we don't trust ourselves, right? We second guess ourselves. And so sometimes we have to go a little bit further or out of our way, which is all still a learning situation, right? Nothing's completely wrong, completely, everything helps us on our journey. It's just sometimes some of us have to take the longer way around, where others, we take the shorter path. Yeah. But that trusting in your intuition and not discounting it. How many people have said, I might be wrong, but this is what I got. This is what came to me, or this is what I saw. So, we qualify it, right? That this could be wrong, but I'm going to share it anyway with you, kind of thing. Yeah. But as we experience our life, and as we experience our intuition as an awake being, we become more and more comfortable with our intuition, that we actually rely on it, that we trust ourselves, right? Those are the people that when you're looking at them and you're listening to them, or that you're perceiving them as somebody that is comfortable in their own skin, right? They have a confidence about them. It's because they trust themselves. They trust their intuition. Yeah. And we can all get there, whatever there is for you, because it's different for everybody. But having open intuition. Now, there are some people who have told me that in their younger days, that their intuition scared them. Bringing in that kind of information, or knowing certain kind of information that they really didn't want to know, right? And so, this is their words. So they turned it off. And the thing is that you and I both know that you can't turn off your intuition. You can turn it down. You can ignore it, but you can't turn it off. You can use the distractions, right? So you don't have to pay attention to that part of your intuition, but you can never turn it off. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Lisa, she was talking to Rochelle. Squirrel, I know it. Anything bright and shiny. Rob is saying, I had a GPS take me through a very rough section of Flint. It reminded me of Watts. I refused to panic. It's where I met my first spirit guide. Oh, so it taking you exactly where you needed to be. Rochelle says, when I don't listen to my intuition, it seems I get into trouble. I get mad at myself. Yeah. Yeah. I can remember those days. Anytime I didn't listen to that inner voice, I was 100% wrong. So I listen. Yeah, so I listen. I learned. Rob says I ended up with a car accident, a broken marriage, and years of chaos, but it led me here. Ah, yeah. Actually, those are good lyrics, aren't they? Yeah. I just listened to um oh, what's his name? Taylor. Just hang on just a minute. Let me see if I can get it. James Taylor, that's it. James Taylor, I was listening to an audiobook, and the title of it is Break Shot, My First 21 Years, James Taylor. And he was talking about his how he wrote music. And Rob, that so reminds me of what he shared about his music writing. It's about his life. Right? Yeah, James Taylor. Yep. Okay, so here we go. Second card. Open intuition. Intuition is the inner voice of the soul. I'm going to say that again. Intuition is the inner voice of the soul. Opening our intuitive channels and trusting the messages that we receive can be challenging in the beginning. Not knowing how to interpret these vibes can lead to confusion. For are you really listening, or is it just your imagination? The thing is that you're already intuitive. Those gut feelings are your primary mechanism for this natural base instinct. Being open and trusting is the start. Meditation, visualization, or connecting to your angels or guides to assist you in these processes can significantly increase your sensory perception and accuracy of vision. You may be experiencing unexplained headaches, migraines, or sinus complaints. This area around your third eye and crown chakra is currently stagnant or blocked and needs to be balanced. Right now, you must learn to decipher this internal guidance. You are receiving many messages but are misinterpreting their meaning. Focus on clearing your mind and resetting your psychic antenna. Remain open to receiving signs and messages as you continue to build your skills using clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. Keep an intuitive journal and record those vibes or premonitions you feel you receive. So, as we take in so much information in both the seen and unseen worlds, right? The second card is basically saying, call on your intuition. Okay, start using it, relying on it, trusting it. And as you build your understanding of what you're receiving, right, that it's going to help you in determining and discerning those distractions. What is a distraction and what is not a distraction for you? And because we are so unique in how we bring in the information and what that information may mean, right? One person's sign or symbol that we receive may mean something to one person, it means something completely different to another. That's why, sometimes reading the books and that sort of thing is helpful, but you really have to kind of sit back and take it in for yourself. And as you start to build in the confidence, those signs and those symbols that are repetitive and that they come in, it's true. Keep a journal if you can. It's almost like your own interpretation dictionary, right? So that when you see the hawk and it's sitting on a branch or in flight, it might mean something very specific and unique to you, and not in a general sense, right? Yeah, but that's all a part of our learning. That's all a part of it. And to be able to remember that language because we're fluent in it. We're fluent in it. We just have to relax and to remember it. And in that remembering and how to communicate in that way with spirit, with our soul, that just means that those everyday distractions take on a whole different kind of meaning for us, right? It's that they're actually helping us with our soul growth, helping us to discern for ourselves how to weed the garden is what I'm hearing. How to weed your garden, because for some people, they like those kind of weeds that when they blossom, and other people say, no, that's invasive, I'm taking that out. Right? Yeah, a lot of metaphors in that one. The garden, the language. It's just that each one of us are so unique. Each one of us has a very unique song, our spiritual song. The soul is so unique, right? And the distractions, when we organize our life and when we discern for ourselves what's that distraction and what's not, it really is, a lot of that is about our soul growth and our soul lessons, right? Our life lessons. Yeah, it's pretty good. Open intuition, being open in bringing in the information. So, many of us, what we have to do is do that healing work around and balancing work around our chakras, our energy centers that bring in the information, right? And we have chakras all over our bodies, all over. It's just not the 7, right? Yeah. I like these 2 cards today. Really, it is about communication. And what better time to talk about this and bring this information in, to show us about communication as we are past Mercury retrograde, going direct yesterday, right? And here we are today. We're starting into the shadow, and we're talking about the communication. Communication with who? With ourselves. With ourselves. And how we bring in information. What we listen to, what we pay attention to, and what we don't. I like it. I like it a lot. That's why it was so important for us to be grounded today, because it was a lot of information, right? It's a lot. Okay. Rob is saying, lyric, you're thinking a broken heart, a broken nose, an empty bottle of gin. I was never a Social Distortion fan, but I have some friends in LA who knew those guys. I'm just saying, you're telling your life story, right? Kimberly is saying, interesting enough, I was researching the clairs. It looks like clairsentient, clear empathy is here, but not the others. Very grateful. You're very welcome. Spirit bringing it to us. Here's these 2 cards together. Right? I'm going to kind of switch them around, though. I'm going to do this. Looking at them together, you see all of that yellow and orange and red. There's blue in there too, but the blue is coming in from the intuition, right? And if you look at the intuition cards, do you see the yellow? There's just a tad bit. I can barely see it red in there as well. The opening intuition is a much calmer card. Not saying that it's not powerful, it's just calmer. And whereas align your universe is there's so much going on, right? Very it almost looks like chaos in a way. But it's here that we learn so much, our life lessons, all the distractions that we can call distractions or discern that they're not distractions. Our intuition is helping us to discern that. And do we trust ourselves? Are we trusting our intuition? Are we remembering how to use that communication and how we communicate it to our conscious self, right? It's about learning how to put ourselves first, our health, our welfare first, to cut through the distractions, right? To put our soul growth first. That's what we came here to do. All I can say is, holy smokes, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. Yeah. So much information to discern for yourself, right? So, anything that we chatted about today, if it felt good to you, if it resonated with you, whether it was a word, a phrase, maybe the whole thing, my suggestion is to embrace it, and then watch, sense, feel, see how the energy is going around you, flowing through you this week, and where this information could be helpful, right? Where you can apply your gifts through it. And if it what didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. No worries. No worries. Maybe you're the messenger and you can share the video with somebody that might be looking for the information, right? And then you're done. Yeah. So I tell you what, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of information coming in. I really want to thank you for being with me this afternoon for the Spiritual Roundtable and our spiritual conversation. I love hanging out with you guys and having this kind of conversation. Um, it makes me happy. It makes me happy. So we have one more show yet this afternoon, or this evening, I should say, at Star Nations live stream show. That's Soul Connections by Polly Jo LeBay. She'll be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's the healing portion comes first. If you're looking to do some healing work, it's always a great time to do that. And the second half is about the card draw. So if you would like to have a mini card reading with Polly Jo, that's this evening, and you can join us for Soul Connections. And then tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern is Polly Jo's other weekly show, and that is Chakra Sessions at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then before her is at 4 p.m. Eastern Time is Life Wisdom with Ed Langen, and he has a guest this week that I think that interview is going to be like, holy cow, kind of information. So hopefully you'll be able to join Ed for his show as well. Okay. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you back here on Sunday afternoon for the other part of the Spiritual Roundtable, that's dream interpretation at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? All right. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.